Hello, Assalamu alaikum to everybody who is watching me. Welcome back to my show, the Dr. S show. So today I have a very special person. I found it after around 15 years something, or maybe more than that, on one of the YouTube channel he's running. So he's a very special person because he is one of our fraternity of medicine, and you know. So he's Dr. Naj Sumro, actually Dr. Najib Sumro, but he called himself Naj nowadays because he is currently living in Australia. So I would just like to give a brief intro about him. So Dr. Najib Sumro is a dual occupational physician and GP trainee, and he's a special interest in medical research and sports medicine. And he was born and raised in Pakistan, Karachi, Apna Karachi. So Dr. Sumro grew up playing cricket, and he's a former captain of the Dow Medical University cricket team in Pakistan. And after graduating from Pakistan in 2010, he moved to Australia, and he has done his master's in public health and a PhD in sports medicine. And currently he's working in Australia. He's living there for now 10 years, and he's full-time in clinical practice. And along with that, he's done many philanthropic works. He's also running one of the YouTube channel that's called Outback Doctors in Australia. So it's just kind of a channel that can help doctors who want to move to Australia. So I will just welcome him to my show, and first we'll go and just have a chit chat because I'm seeing him after so many years. So I have to talk in a very non-formal way initially, and then we'll go in a formal way. So welcome, Najib. How are you?
Sana, great to hear from you. Great to see you after probably a dozen years, if not more. And thank you very much for inviting me to your show. Happy to be here, and thank you very much for the generous introduction.
I tried my best to give the best introduction, but I'm super excited to know, because it's like internet has made people to come close, after 12 years, I'm seeing you almost.
Perfect. Thank you.
So tell me, how is life and how is everything going on at your side?
Yeah, pretty good. Life has been good over here. Obviously, with any new moves, you have a little bit of an initial struggling phase. But if you work hard, you settle in, and then once you settle in, then things go smoothly. So that's how it is at the moment. As you said, I'm doing dual training, and I've been heavily involved in clinical work. So happy to have a chat about that.
Yeah. So you can see my background. I'm super excited because Australia is known for beaches and all. So I put that background, especially for this program, So tell me
Absolutely. At the moment, it's actually winter over here, so it won't be as sunny as.
Oh, I'm sorry for that, but it's sunny here in Ireland. So if you want to come to Ireland, then take some sun bath here.
Brilliant. That's unusual for Ireland, but that's good that you have that weather.
Yeah. So tell me, Najib, how so basically, today our purpose of this program is to guide our doctors who want to go to Australia, who are currently living in Pakistan or Middle East or Ireland, UK, USA. So it's basically a wide thing that, for specifically for those people who want to, move to Australia because of their family purposes or because they really want to go to Australia. Sometimes there's a choice of life that, okay, we are in Middle East, but we want to go there because of family reunion and different things. I know some of my friends, because they were struggling for AMC, so they could not get it. And I have few friends that I know they were in Middle East, they came to UK and Ireland, and now still struggling because they want to go to Australia. So my purpose for this program was to help those people who really wish to go to Australia. Although I know that Irish people love to go to Australia because lots of money there, lots of Australian dollars there, isn't it?
I think more than that, they actually like going to the beach, so they tend to flock over here.
Yeah, I think beach plus money makes it attractive.
I agree.
Yeah. So tell me, what do you say? We will go with the different pathways, to come to Australia. Specifically, we will start from the base. Like after completing your MBBS, let's suppose we have done everybody, from Pakistan. We have done from Pakistan. So tell me, if somebody's a fresh graduate, so what will be the first way if he or she is thinking that okay, we have to come to Australia? So what do you think is the quickest way to come? And what will be the shortcuts and pros and cons?
Yeah, thanks, Anna. What I'll do is I'll break it down into three segments.
Okay.
So essentially, there are three pathways of coming to Australia. So the three registration pathways are the standard pathway, competent pathway, and specialist pathway. So if you are a young graduate, then you come under the standard pathway, particularly if you have worked in Pakistan, India, and the subcontinent region. There is another pathway, which is competent pathway. Again, that is for new graduates, but those who have got experience in equivalent countries, which means UK, Ireland, Canada, America, and so on. So obviously, if we are going to target for someone who has graduated in the subcontinent and they want to come over here, then the way to go about it is first finish your house job, and then you would apply for the AMC exam. AMC exam has two parts. So you do part one. After part one, you are eligible to apply for a job, and you apply for a job as a resident. The issue with that is there is quite a bit of competition here in Australia. So it's quite challenging to get a job. The vacancies are quite less. So generally people who have either part two or have equivalent country experience get the job easier. Coming to the equivalent country experience, so I hear that it's a lot easier to get a job in UK, Ireland. So a lot of doctors that actually do their PLAB or equivalent exams moving to UK or Ireland. If you work there for 1 year, then you can come to Australia directly without doing any exams, as long as you've covered the exams on those countries. And then you can easily get a job over here. So those are the main pathways for younger doctors. The third pathway is a specialist pathway. So if you've done your specialization, your FRA, CGP, or fellowship exams in Pakistan, then you can obviously come like FCPS. So you can obviously come here as a specialist, but then that's a different ball game. So in terms of answering the details of this question, if you are interested in a lot more details, what I'll do, Sana, is I'll send you links to my videos where I've specifically talked about in detail about each and every pathway, and we can tag it down in the description of this video, so people can then have more information on
it. Can take the details from there. But I just want to interrupt you for a thing. I know that AMC is the thing, but I know people they struggle a lot in the second part, and then I think there is workplace-based assessment kind of. Is it easier to get workplace-based assessment at now in Australia, or do you think that it is good to go for PLAB? Because I think now PLAB part one we can give at Pakistan, and then the clinical we have to go to UK to give that. You think that comparatively AMC is harder and PLAB is easier to get? And then what do you say about that?
Yeah, again, an excellent question, and I've actually made a detailed video on that as well, and I'll flick you the link on that. In that video, I've again explained, and the short answer is yes. Do the PLAB. It's a lot easier than AMC. AMC is one of the most difficult exams in the world, with a very low passing rate. So the clinical exam has a passing rate of between 10 to 15%. So henceforth, it's quite challenging. The reason why it's challenging is that a lot of people who apply for the clinical exam haven't worked in Australia. And in Australia, there are certain ways of doing things which are different from other countries. And therefore, without working in Australia, it's difficult to pass that exam. Similarly, the WPA program, I've again made a video on that. I will share it with you guys in the link. That is again very difficult to get into because of high demand, and they're very limited places. So ideally, the short answer is that go to the UK or Ireland and then come over here.
But the thing is that, and I would say at the moment, I would say UK is a good market to for the new doctors, because they can easily give PLAB 1, and then I know with the COVID, so the circumstances are a little different because of the COVID-19. It's difficult to go for the clinical part, but I think now they are conducting. So I think the better idea would be, as you are saying, to go to UK and also to get some experience, at least 1 year experience, as you're saying, and then go for it. And tell me about the IELTS or OET. Do they have to give, or there is an exemption for that if they have worked in UK or Ireland? Is there any way?
There is no exemption. So you have to give, as long as your primary degree is from Pakistan, you will have to give the IELTS, PTE, or OET.
And what is the score? The score they need to get it, like
So it needs to
7.5
be
or.
seven each in IELTS and equivalent in whatever the equivalency is for the exams.
Okay, and OAT, I think B score, right? Are they accepting
I'm
OAT?
actually not sure. I'm actually not sure on the score on OET, but whatever is equivalent to IELTS 7, that will be the accepted.
And the, yeah, so the other way I could say that those doctors who want to come to Ireland, they the fresh graduates, they can try the exemption route, to come to Ireland and to start working here. And then if you get 2 years experience in Ireland, meanwhile you're completing your PLAB, then you can gain. There's a kind of a certificate that you can get it from Ireland, that you work in an English speaking country. So you will get exemption from the IELTS for GMC, I think. But if you have done MRCPCH, but for the PLAB, you have to get OAT B and or IELTS 7.5 overall. So you can see in their website what they want. But that's, I'm sure, if you're going for the PLAB, you need IELTS or OAT. And if you're going for MRCPCH exam, then if you're working for 2 years in Ireland, then you will easily get exempted from IELTS, and you can easily get GMC. And once you get the GMC, of course, if you want to go to Australia, you can directly apply, as Najib is telling us. So that's one way. And tell me now, those like us, like I am the middle grade doctor, I'm working as a registrar in Ireland. So tell me, there are many doctors that I know are on the middle grade, and if they are approaching for their new journey to start in Australia, so what kind of advice you will give to them, and what are the options for open for them in Australia? What do you say, Najib?
Brilliant question, Sana. First of all, thank you very much for sharing the insight on the system in Ireland. And I think we need to make another video later on
Yeah,
on
we
the
will,
Irish system, but
yeah.
we'll keep it as a separate topic.
Yeah.
As far as you're concerned, when you say the middle grade doctors, I'm assuming doctors who've got 3 to 5 years of experience, or 5 to 10 years of experience, but haven't done their fellowships. So those doctors are actually quite a bit in demand in Australia. The system here is such that these doctors who are applying for non-trainee registrar positions, that those are the middle tier positions, say between 3 to 7 years of experience. If you have postgraduate in medicine without a specialization, you can easily get jobs over here, particularly if you have got equivalent country experience. So I would highly encourage those doctors coming in from overseas, especially UK, Ireland, to apply for registrar positions. And if you have any doubts, feel free to reach out to me. I'll put my email address and my details down there. Happy to assist you in the process. The process is actually a lot more simpler because those doctors are in demand, so you can easily get jobs. I know that every year from Ireland, at least 200 doctors come to Perth, Western Australia, and that's just one city where these doctors come and work here for a couple of years, gain experience, and go back. So Irish doctors are looked upon very favorably. The job market is easy. In fact, I was having a chat with one of my Irish friends who's a doctor over here. She actually got the job over here without even an interview. So that's the market position, and I understand from them is the salary is quite is a lot better over here as compared to the work hours as well. So yeah, absolutely, highly encourage you to come over here and seek jobs.
But I would say, like, most of the doctors nowadays, they're coming from exemption route to Ireland, so they have not given the press exam. So I think that for them it is important that at least they complete their membership or PLAB. Then they might be thinking, like in my scenario, I'm going for MRCPCH exam. So let's suppose take my scenario. So if I've completed my MRCPCH exam and I am like 5 years working in Ireland, so what will be my status to apply in Australia? Like, can I apply easily, or I have to go for AMC?
That's a good question, Sana. So you have to have a primary entry exam from a country where you're coming from. So if you are in Ireland, you need to have that press exam. If you're in the UK, you have to have a PLAB exam, or you have to have the AMC exam. Unfortunately, MRCP is not an alternative to those exams. So if you went to, I'm not sure when you went to Ireland, you had to do the press or not. If you haven't done the press, then you will have to do either the press or the PLAB to get an exemption from AMC. Otherwise, you do the AMC.
Or if I let's suppose I've completed my MRC research and I go in the training, okay, and I complete my training in Ireland or UK or whatever, as in pediatrics or GP or whatever, XYZ. So then do I have to give any specialist exam later on, or I can easily go in the pathway, like equivalent pathway, and start my work there in Australia? What do you say about that?
Sure. So then you will come in a separate pathway, which I initially at the start of the video, I said there are 3 pathways. So number 1 is the standard, number 2 is the competent, and number 3 is the specialist pathway. So if you've done your specialist training, then you will fall under the 3rd category of specialist pathway, and you can come here directly as a specialist. So you will have to give no exams. However, most specialities would want you to work at least 1 year under supervision. And then if your performance is up and down, they might ask you to give the exam. But most of the time from equivalent countries, you are trained at such a high level that the performance is good, and then you'd be able to get full fellowship. So no exams if you've done your specialist training.
Okay. And if I have done a specialist training, is it like 1 year you are saying that we have to work there? And is it a provisional registration we'll get from Australia, isn't it?
So and the way it works is you get specialist registration. That specialist registration may have a subcategory of specialist provisional registration. And if you complete that 1 year of satisfactory work, then you're good. However, I've actually made a video on the specialist pathway as well. So make sure you
we will do that. Yeah. So that, because that will be more detailed. Yeah.
Yes, correct.
Tell me about, like, okay, so if you have told me different paths, and how is, like, what I would say is that we have done the 3 pathways. Now, I think that was a good information. So I think we will continue our next segment in our next part of the video. So I will complete this session, and I think we will keep it short, and we'll go to the next session. So then in that session, we're going to discuss, like, from the next point of view, that, how to get the job you have discussed, the 3 pathways you have discussed, and then we will go about, like, when you get the job, what are the different things you are facing, and what is the work environment and different things. So I will please, guys, stay tuned, and we'll get back to Najib in the next short video, because I don't want people to get bored. So
good idea.
Yeah,
perfect. We'll knock it off over there.
Yeah, so I will stop it now. So stay tuned, guys, and see the next video. Okay, take care. Okay, now I'll stop.